What's up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm gonna be reacting to My Horibal Spelling by The Odd Ones Out. Now, I can kind of relate because I'm not the best speller. I never really did well in English, but yeah, anyway. Hopefully this video's gonna be quite funny. The original link's in the description. Make sure you go subscribe to The Odd Ones Out. Without any further ado, let's begin.
Okay, class. Spell Wednesday. I don't know how to spell Wednesday. Well, James, just sound it out. Oh, okay.
That is the worst advice to give. That is the worst advice to give because in English, things aren't the way they sound. Like knife. If someone says, well, sound it out, you're like N-I-F-E. Because that's what it sounds like. But no, there's a freaking K there. Sound it out is the worst advice a teacher can give, okay? Or your parents, because I remember my parents would do that to me, and it would drive me freaking crazy, because English is a really messed up language, and the words don't sound the way they're spelt.
Okay. So, like this? No, James, it's Wednesday. You said sound it out, that's how you sound it out. You think you have it bad? Do is spelt with an X. I think it comes to no surprise that I'm terrible at spelling. I feel like everyone in life falls into two categories. Either you're good at math and bad at reading, or you're weird. And if you've seen my other videos, you know that I'm a math boy.
Yeah, and you know that I'm weird.
My mom told me that I have dyslexia because she has dyslexia and I have all the symptoms, but we never got that diagnosed by a doctor, so you can't make me take my meds, Mom. A lot of times what I do to cover up the fact that I spell lower than a first grade level is I will purposely misspell words to the point where it's obviously a joke. You thought
But really you don't know how to spell it? That's genius. That's genius.
I was doing that to be funny, but it's actually because I have zero self-confidence in my spelling, and I don't want anyone to point out my mistakes. I mentioned this in a different video, but in elementary school, I was put into an honors program, and everyone had to take spelling tests a grade ahead of their level. And by everyone, I mean everyone except me, because I failed every single spelling test. So I had to take spelling tests that were on level. Ew. Every week when we took a spelling test, I would have to move to the back of the classroom and the teacher would stand right next to me. She'd call out everyone else's word, which had like 8 syllables, like anti-
Oh, that's so awkward. That's so awkward. They basically single you out.
disestablishmentarianism, and then she'd turn to me and give me my on-level word.
Cat.
James, your word is cat.
Oh! Oh, wow. I freaking called that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Also, one year our class did a spelling bee and everyone had to participate, and like, I didn't even care that I was the first one out. Hey, that's almost my name. Another thing that I mentioned in a pretty old video is that I used to have a speech impediment when I was little. I couldn't pronounce my O's and I talked like this. I'm good now. Obviously. So every other day during school, I had to go to a speech therapy class, and one day the teacher who taught me how to pronounce my O's, I'll call her Mrs. Kool-Aid.
Why do all your teachers wear the exact same shirt? All of them! All of them!
Gave me this sheet of paper with a bunch of raindrops on it, and she said, for every raindrop on this page, say the word raindrop. But then she just left the room, and I said, well, I'm not gonna do this. I didn't say raindrop a single time, because like, no one was even there. No one would have seen me not saying raindrop. So why would I do something that I didn't want to do? But then, the funny part is, when she came back, she asked, are you finished saying your raindrops? No. Well, how many did you say? I didn't say any.
Well, at least you were honest. At least you were honest.
You stupid child. I told her the truth for some reason. I don't know why, it was probably the easiest lie in my life to get away with, but that's why I remember this story. I'm still mad at myself for telling the truth. And I had to say raindrop a bunch of times in front of her, and she would only go to the next raindrop until I said it right, and it was terrible. Really hurt my feelings. Since I was struggling with reading and spelling, I had to get an IEP. An incredible, excellent personality, which meant I had to go to a special class for a little bit during school, and the teacher who taught this class was none other than Mrs. Kool-Aid.
Was the special class where all the special people would go? You know, like the people in the cafeteria who would sit in their own table and would throw like food at each other and scream? I don't know.
Oh yeah. I don't know why I said it like that. I don't remember anyone ever telling me I was put into a special needs class. I just remember going into speech therapy every other day, and then those classes slowly morphed into teaching me how to read and spell. I don't know, I thought reading this book would have helped me talk better. 2 other kids were in the reading class with me, and I remember the day when reading for me just clicked. Us 3 were given a simple sentence to read. It was about bees. It was so simple.
You like jazz?
It was literally just, to defend their hive from wasps, bees don't sting the wasp. Instead, they all crowd around the wasp and flap their wings to raise their body temperature, heating up the wasp until it dies.
Hey, I heard of that before. That the bees do that. That's kind of crazy. But also, how would you remember that sentence from like way back? How would you remember that?
And then Mrs. Kool-Aid asked us, okay, how do bees defend against wasps? And the other 2 kids said, they sting them. And I said, what? No, you moans! Didn't you weed this? The words on this paper have meaning when placed in a certain order to convey information. Also, I never want to get hugged by a bee. So I was in these classes all the way until the 6th grade. I was getting better at reading. I still wasn't great, but I was getting better at it. And one day, Mrs. Kool-Aid said, you know, James, you should try competing in the Battle of the Books. Battle of the Books? Battle of the Books? Battle of the Books! Finally, reading sounds fun! At my
I was not expecting it to be that loud.
school, Battle of the Books was this competition where students were given a list of 4 books to read within a time limit of like 2 months. I don't remember how long it was. And after however many months it was, the contestants would sit in an auditorium and take turns answering questions about the books. And whoever got the most questions right would get a pizza party. And that's where the battle part comes in. We'd kill each other for pizza. And then there were
A pizza party? When you say you get a pizza party, is it just you by yourself getting a pizza party? Because that's kind of sad.
2 more rounds, each with 4 more books, so there was a total of 12 books you had to read. And we were allowed to be with a partner, so my partner was TJ. Hey TJ, do you remember Battle of the Books? Yeah man, it was great. Now you're probably thinking that 4 books in 2 months isn't that hard, especially since they're kids' books.
No, it's very hard. Because, I haven't read a book in years. I haven't read a book in like 4 years. So reading 4 books in 2 months, that's impossible.
But as someone who didn't read any books on my own outside of school, it was a challenge. But I discovered a way to cheat the system. I discovered something called audio.
Cliff Notes. Yes, Cliff Notes. Where you just go and read the summary. I remember those. I remember those. Man, like, the teachers think they're so slick by doing things. There's so many ways to cheat in high school and in school in general.
Books. Instead of having to sit still and read the book, I could just have someone read the book to me. And I would get through the book so much faster.
Yeah, audiobooks are so much better. However, I don't think they work as well with your brain. Because my speech and stuff has dwindled so much since I've stopped reading books. Like, I used to be relatively, okay in intelligence-wise. Nowadays, not so much. Not so much. And I think a big reason is because I'm not reading books. Because reading books, they stimulate your mind. And it also helps you with, pronouncing bigger words and learning bigger words and whatnot. But since I don't read them, my intellect is dwindling. I think that's the best way to put it.
I'd be able to read a book in about 8 hours as opposed to reading a book never, because I would never be able to finish a book on my own. And I was actually able to understand what was going on. I legitimately thought that listening to audiobooks was cheating because of how well it worked. So I never told anyone my secret. Until just now. Please don't tell anyone. Also, I didn't just turn on an audiobook and start playing video games. No, I sat in my bed next to the CD player and followed along with the book, and sometimes I even took notes. I've wanted to talk about my love for audiobooks for so long, but I can't, because then people will think I'm getting paid by a certain company.
That's what I was thinking. I'm just waiting for that Audible plug.
But I'm not, and I'll prove it. Instead of wasting your money on quality audiobooks made by professionals, you guys should all check out LibriVox.org, where you can listen to free public domain audiobooks, which means there's only old-timey classical books on it, like Aesop's Fables, which in my opinion is all you need. Anyway, TJ and I did the Battle of the...
Ah, that's cool. I never knew that.
notebooks, and for one of the rounds, TJ was sick, so I had to answer the questions all by myself, and I never forgave him for that. And also, the whole time, I was keeping track of everyone's points, and me and TJ got the most questions right. My math skills are finally being useful. I was already craving the pizza. After the last round, the teacher said, "Okay, I'll tally up all the points and let you all know who the winner."
Look, it's the same shirt. It's the same shirt as all the other teachers. Why?
Is in a couple of weeks. But since I was keeping track of everyone's score, I already knew we won. I turned to TJ and I said, "TJ, guess what? We already..." Oh, this is the round that you were sick on. How did I not notice that until just now? But then a couple of weeks go by and I'm not hearing any news about a pizza party. I was expecting to walk into class one day and there would just be a pile of pizza boxes waiting for me. But that never happened. The teacher in charge of the competition was the librarian, so one day I went up to her and I asked, "So, did you ever say who won the Battle of the Books? Also, my favorite pizza is barbecue chicken." And she said, "Oh, these 2 fifth graders won." So the Battle
Oh, it was rigged. It was rigged.
of the Books was for both 5th and 6th graders. I was a 6th grader, so I went to all the 6th grader battles, but apparently there was some low-life 5th grader who got every single question right and stole my pizza party. And that taught me a valuable lesson. Even when you work hard, you don't always get what you want in life. But that's okay, because one day
you'll be an adult and you can buy all the pizza you want without having to read first.
Did you... Why would you buy that many pizza? Buy that many pizza? My intellect is dwindling. Why would you buy that much pizza? Wow, that was crazy. Are those full of pizza or are those just boxes? Like, did you go to a pizzeria and then you're like, "Hey, can I have these boxes? I'll give you 20 bucks. Or did you actually buy all this pizza? And if you did buy all this pizza, you better give some of it to like homeless people or something, because I highly doubt you can eat all this. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. I can relate a lot with this because I am, you know, as I said, I'm not that good of a speller. And, I mean, I haven't read a book in, oh my goodness, like 4 years, maybe 5 or 6, maybe. That is sad. That is sad. But, oh my goodness, my brain. So that would probably explain why I'm losing IQ every day. But yeah, anyway, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share with a friend if you're new, and subscribe to join the family today, and also make sure you go subscribe to the Odd Ones Out. Without any further ado, I can't speak, I need to read. I'll see you guys next time. Boop.